you say don't talk about religious politics, it is also a problem. That means you're postponing the doomsday.
I mean, you go to court on a regular basis.
Yes.
You see the challenges you face with administration of justice, and then you hear what Nigerians think about corruption. You hear what happens within the political class. Yes. Do you need national conference for all of those things to be sorted out first and foremost?
You don't really need national conference for all those things to be sorted out. Those things can be sorted out if we really decide to do the right things. Now, but why are we not doing the right things? A lot of people said because we have not decided on the basis of being together. Because whenever anything happens, we cling to one form of problems or the other. And that is why we also not looking at what type of people do we put up for certain appointments. Why are we always looking at religious sentiments, ethnic nationalities for certain appointments? Why should somebody be in Lagos? Why should somebody's grandfather be in Lagos and he's not a Lagosian? Why should you pay your taxes in Lagos, for instance? Some people pay as much as 1 million naira tax in Lagos and he's not considered, but somebody who did not pay a dime to Lagos State is considered. Let us find out, what do we want to do? They are all very important.
But again, sorry, if you look at it, Malcolm asked the question. Quite frankly, she knows that you're a lawyer, but she's trying to see if we can put some kind of legal meaning into all of this. But now we have taken this whole argument into ethnic nationalities, and you said these are some of the issues we'll be asking ourselves. It means if we're saying or asking if truly we want to stay together as one, isn't that the same kind of fear some people are already nursing? That is why they're saying that such is not negotiable?
No. In my view, it's not negotiable. But all of us, I know from what I have sampled, many of us want us to be together. But we need to come and say we want to be together. There's nothing wrong with that. If you go down to the west, southwest, they want to be part of Nigeria. The south want to be part of Nigeria. The north want to be part of Nigeria. So that is not... But if you continue to say, don't discuss it, that is where the problem is.
Are you not afraid? I mean, for those people who say, don't discuss it, some people say that it is taken for granted that we all want to be together and that, we just need to discuss the terms. But are you not afraid that if we do not agree, some people might, that taken for granted our being together might actually be at risk?
Now, if there is such fear, that means those fears should be allayed, because people are saying, let us discuss the terms of being together. The basic first thing would have been, yes, we want to be together, but let us discuss the terms.
What I'm saying is, what if we do not agree on the terms?
If we do not agree on the terms, we will still have to do something to agree. Now, if you say if we do not agree and we still want to discuss the basis of being together, it simply still goes down to the same thing. If we do not agree on the basis of being together, then everybody will go. And it's just very clear.
So two people, it means then that, being together cannot be taken for granted.
No, certainly it cannot be taken for granted. The first thing I said is that I believe that most Nigerians want to be together. That is one. The problem is the basis of being together. And I think again that we can do the concessions to be together. Nigerians are ready to do the concessions to be together.
You've heard, I'm sure you must have heard a host of words from October the 1st this year. You've watched developments, you've seen different reactions of different people, you've heard different things. I mean, and then I'm sure you've also seen when the president did say during the Salah homage that was, paid to him, or when he was visited for the regular Salah homage, you heard him say that, he doesn't know why people are worried, since the results are going to go to the National Assembly for it to be put into the Constitution. Now, you've also heard the opposition party say, if that is the case, what that means or what that amounts to is a mere amendment of the Constitution. So we should not be putting our mind to a constitutional conference, as it were. What are your own thoughts on what you have seen so far?
And now it is also dependent on, I was surprised the president again said it should go to the National Assembly. Because one, if you're talking about the will of the people, because one is, I think at this stage the president should not have made that statement of saying it has to go to the National Assembly. Because the consultative committee, because I call the committee he set up as a consultative committee.
Yeah, advisory.
Advisory, yeah. So they will have to advise him on whether he should go to the National Assembly or whether he should not go to the National Assembly. Because what we may be embarking on is violence on the Constitution. Because the 1999 Constitution provided for how it's going to be amended. If you do not follow that way of amending it, then you're going to do violence on that Constitution. But we have to remember that the basic tenet of Constitution and constitutionalism is the will of the people.
But how would that violate, say, you talked about violence on the 1999 Constitution. What is the violence you see that? Because even if you talk about ways, I mean, if it's going to go as a memorandum to the National Assembly, it's definitely one way. It's not in violation of the 1999 Constitution, is it?
No, what I'm saying is, one is if we are talking about conference on what we are going to do, whether we're going to be together, what are the basis of being together, and you want to subject that to the people, it means it will be by way of referendum. If you do a referendum, it will be violence on the Constitution, because the Constitution did not provide that there will have to be a referendum. That is one. But the only way you can have what you call an autochthonous constitution, that is constitution from the people, which is the basis of every nation, which should be the basis of a nation being together, is by way of such talk shop or such conference going to the people directly for approval.
But that can come without a referendum at the end of the day.
How?
Can it?
It cannot. Why it cannot is, if you send it to the Constitution, or constitutional setup through the National Assembly. National Assembly has a way of amending the Constitution. And that way of amending Constitution is not in consonance with the way, if we had done this all along, if we had done this conference and passed the conference through the people, in which the people had said how that Constitution is going to be. Because the problem is that in 1999 there was a basic lie. We, the people of Nigeria, have given ourselves this Constitution, which was a basic lie. There was no people of Nigeria that did that.
Even though it's still debatable, because some will say the soldier, the military were also Nigerians.
Good. Why didn't they say the soldiers gave us, Nigerian soldiers gave us?
If
you say we, the people of Nigeria, it means that I, for instance, voted for that Constitution. Or that I was consulted for that Constitution. You were consulted. You will tell me whether you were consulted. Who was consulted?
But that doesn't mean we will not operate that document until a valid one becomes necessary.
No, you know when you come to relatively military setting, when you have the military way of dispossessing what you have, there's nothing you can do. It remains the legal system, but it may not be a legitimate system. There are two things.
Yeah, but even at that,
yes.
You have people who think, okay, here we are talking about we wanting a national conference with the mindset that should address a lot of the problems, if not all of them. Yeah. And then they also say, look, the document we have, albeit insufficient and not given to the people, as you say, they say, look, we're not even operating that wholly to know that this is truly deficient. We're doing our best with what we have, and so we need to do better. And they tell you, look, we're not even operating or sticking to the laws, to the letter of the Constitution, let alone requesting for a conference. So what's the guarantee that even if you come up with that conference, we won't approach it with the same attitude?
No, it depends also on how watchful we will be. Take, for instance, my recommendation, in order not to completely do much violence, there will certainly be violence on the system. Violence, I don't mean killing people, but I mean doing violence on the legal system.
How?
My recommendation, yes. If anything you're going to do to capture the will of the people, which was not captured ab initio, is going to do violence on the document you have called the Constitution.
Violence, or you're talking about resistance?
No, the violence I mean is that you're not going to do it legally. Anything you're going to do now, because everything is based on falsehood. The basic thing we have today is based on falsehood. So for you to change it, there must be relative violence. But for some of us, what do you do?
But you're not talking about bloodshed.
No. No, when I mean violence is when you don't do something the way it was said.
It's very important that we clarify that you are not talking about bloodshed.
No, not bloodshed. If you don't amend the Constitution the way contemplated by that Constitution, that is, you're doing violence to the Constitution. So you're doing violence to the legal system as it is now. You're trying to subsume the legitimate legal system you know, for us to operate.
You think that there is no way we can actually give, there's been an argument